Science Challenge Day.
Let us begin.
There was tragically a couple of plane crashes that happened
Wow, this is a
recently.
wild week.
And it's wild that we're talking about these plane crashes because last time we was on, we were talking about how safe
How safe they were.
plane air travel is.
How safe they are.
Yo, it's like this. It's
yeah.
wild. So this DC plane crash. I'm reading from ABC News here. They finally identified some of the folks that died in this plane crash. This just happened, and I just flew back the day before. I just flew back in town the day before, and to hear about this, it was kind of wild. And mind you, it's the plane the what happened was the helicopter crashed into a plane, midair collision.
Midair.
That in and of like so for to have a plane crash is rare. To have a freaking two aircraft collide in midair.
Yeah.
Bro, we're talking about not only we're talking about altitude, you know, we're talking about altitude and everything, and like the trajectory, like that's crazy for that to happen. So that's like very rare of an event.
Extremely rare, yeah.
ABC News reports here that 67 people are dead after a regional jet collided with an Army Black Hawk helicopter Wednesday night. This was last Wednesday over in DC. Officials said that the nation's first major commercial aircraft crash since 2009. And let me highlight the fact that they say this is a commercial airline, a domestic commercial airline crash, because there's been other crashes, right? But this is the first major commercial airline crash since 2009. The aircraft went down in the frigid Potomac River, breaking into multiple pieces. The flight, which had departed from Wichita, Kansas, which is, we're going to put a pin in that because it's kind of important for the story, was approaching Ronald Reagan Airport at the time of the collision. Officials said there were no survivors in the crash. There were 64 passengers aboard the plane and 3 Army soldiers in the helicopter. In the Black Hawk, according to officials. Among those lost in the crash were 14 people who were returning home from a national figure skating development camp in Wichita.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of the headlines have been about. The skating community is a tight-knit community. This is like, just like you have dance moms, for example, will be a tight-knit community. Just like you have like the travel little league teams. That's a small community. You know what I mean? There's like everybody knows each other. You know what I mean? And you talking about coming from a place like Wichita. That's not a big city. You know what I mean? So like a lot of people, I bet you can't throw a stone in Wichita and like not have somebody who knows somebody that was like, you know, either related to somebody that was on that flight or related themselves specifically to somebody on that flight. There was this one dad I read about where his daughter and his wife was on that bid. And they went to like the skating championship thing and coming back from that, and it was him and his son at home just waiting for them to come back, and like it's just them two now.
Yeah.
You read up on anything here?
I mean, just essentially what you were just mentioning, like just they're still like contacting families and still getting more information on the folks who died, unfortunately. Something that I thought was important to mention is when it comes to these type of incidences with plane crashes, one of the vital things to be able to recover is what's called a black box, right? And a black box is typically like what every plane should have that. It's a highly visible orange box. The purpose of the black box is that it records 2 different things specifically. It has a voice recorder and it has flight data recorder. So obviously the voice recorder is to record all the voices, the pilots, the communication between them and the towers. And there's also the flight data recorder that obviously records the path of the flight, the time, the pitch, all of that. So a lot of times in recover and these boxes are designed to be recoverable in the case of something like this, right? Because it kind of helps to piece together like, hey, because what it also records is like if there's like anomalies or abnormalities in like the way the plane is functioning. So and there's obviously there's like different systems and programs, applications that they use to be able to assess these things when the people who recover it, when they recover the black box.
You get a lot of information.
You get a lot of information, so they have to so you get a lot of like people who are specialized in that investigative work, right? And a lot of and honestly, it's especially with something like this where there's no survivors, which is so crazy. This is the only thing you can really rely on, right? Is like the data from this black box. So Is just for our listeners' awareness. That is one way of at least it's not gonna like it'll at
It
least
ain't gonna bring nobody
it ain't
back,
gonna
but
bring nobody back,
it
but
helps
it's
you.
helpful to know the information to
Yeah,
improve air travel
going forward.
going forward. So that's important to know. So there's efforts in at least there's some level of effort to
And they've
improve.
recovered it. You said by now, right? I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah. They recovered it.
there's
So
I don't
they're
know
getting
if
some information
if I
from it.
seen this, but like does the helicopter have a black box also?
It should. If it's an aircraft, a modern aircraft, I'm not sure exactly when they started incorporating it. I think that the earliest that it started was like in the 1950s. Yeah, because there's an Australian scientist that invented it in the 1950s. So it's been around for almost 100 years. So
They should have a
so
helicopter. I don't see
yeah,
why not.
so it should be on the helicopters because they also have flight plans too. So it should be on aircrafts since the 1950s. It should at least be on some kind on whatever aircraft you have. So yeah.
With the skaters getting the bulk of the attention for this crash, this incident, I do want to take a time out to talk about one of our people, black folk. We have a specific a woman that was on this flight. Her name is Kiah Duggins. She this was this scholar black woman, graduated from Harvard Law.
When I was a little girl, I really, really wanted to be a princess. I loved princesses' grand adventures and their ability to garner respect and admiration just from being themselves. So one day, when I was on a play date with a lighter skinned friend, I naturally decided to pretend to be a princess. But my lighter skinned friend stopped me in my tracks. You can't be a princess, she said, because black princesses do not exist.
This woman was a civil rights attorney. She pursued her bachelor's originally at Wichita State. So her tie
Mm,
to Wichita there.
mm,
From 2013 to 2017, she earned several accolades, including the school's Clay Barton Scholarship. She interned at the White House. She taught English in Taiwan. She was homecoming queen in high school. She was homecoming queen candidate in high school, and she was she ran in
oh, she lit.
Kansas contest. She was a Miss Kansas contestant twice.
Mm,
Um, all around, just like smart, beautiful,
mm,
and she was an attorney for this nonprofit civil rights corps.
mm,
She had all the accolades. She was about to be Supreme Court justice at some point. Like she had like
she was
all
on
the
that
resume.
trajectory.
She was
Mm,
a professor. She was gonna be a. Did I see this correctly? I think she was coming in to be I might be wrong. I think she was coming in to be a professor. Yep. In the fall, Duggins was planning to begin teaching as a professor at Howard University School of Law
mm.
at 30 years old.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Bro, I need to step my game up.
yeah.
I need to step my game up. She did so much in her 30 years already
Wow. Yeah,
that
she was
that a
going.
lot of us ain't even sniffing. We out here sleeping, and
Mm,
and her life was cut short because of this random fluke thing, and we're still trying to figure out what happened. But that's unfortunate. But I just
yeah,
want to give
beautiful
a shout
woman
out
too. I'm
to
looking at her.
Kiah Duggins. Yeah, she had she checked all the boxes. She just was
Dang, she's solid, bro. That's crazy. She had all that
solid.
going for her. She's
All that go for it, and then the random
crazy,
joint
bro.
happens. So rest in
Yeah.
power, and what I mean,
Dang.
and sending her family a lot of healing
Yeah.
energy.
100%. 100%.
And hopefully we can know
Shed some
that,
light on it a little bit.
yeah, shed some light on it, and have
Mm.
folks give her her flowers for what she did in her short 30 years.